What's going on is Anton from antondaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. As usual, I got a special guest, but let me introduce this person a little bit differently because going forward, I made up in my mind, I only want to talk to people that I feel like I can get true value from. You know, people that could give me some insight, give you guys some insight based off of their history, their current situation, and where they see themselves in the future. And I want to introduce, I don't know if I should introduce you as the Brian McKnight that I know or the Brian McKnight that you've changed the name into.
Well, the first and last name is still the same.
Okay.
My middle names have changed.
Okay.
So I'm still Brian McKnight. It's funny when people they say, how do you want to be introduced? You know, you're a singer, you're a songwriter, you're this and that. It's like, I'm a recording artist. I'm mostly just a songwriter and a producer and a singer. But I'm just me. I'm just a regular dude, man. That's kind of who I've always been.
It's like the last couple of years you've kind of set the internet on fire, and we're going to get to that. But I want to discover you as a person because I believe that there's more to you than just what the blogs put up. There's more to you than just what people create a clip of or a narrative. And so if we can, I would like to start from the very beginning. Not so much of your childhood, but I know you were born in Buffalo, New York, right?
Correct.
And then raised in Orlando.
So we moved to Orlando when I was 9 or 10.
Okay.
My dad worked in aerospace for 35 years. His first job was actually a cow span in Buffalo. What they did was the very first crash dummies for the cars.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. So when that sort of ended, he got recruited to go down to what was then Martin Marietta, which became Lockheed, and he was there 35 years. But my parents then divorced as soon as we got.
Really?
As soon as we got to Orlando.
Were your parents, did they sing? Could they sing?
So it's my mother's side. My dad was an athlete.
Okay.
He got invited to different baseball camps when he was coming out of high school. But just like with me and my brothers, religion played a huge role in what we could do and what we couldn't do.
Well, the internet says that you were raised as a Seventh-day Adventist.
Correct.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. What was that like growing up in the church? Because a lot of singers, R&B singers, it seems like their foundation is in the church.
Yeah. We sang, my brothers and I, we had a barbershop type quartet. And my grandfather in our church in Buffalo was the minister of music. So the entire choir was our family. Yeah. So when you were big enough to put on a robe, you were in the choir.
Was it a small church or a medium-sized church?
It's hard to know when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Because everything's so big. And now as an adult, I've gone back and they knocked that church down. So it's not there anymore.
Oh, really?
So it's hard to, I thought it was huge.
Yeah.
But it's hard to really know.
And then from Orlando, you moved to Los Angeles.
So I went to college for almost 2 years in Huntsville, Alabama, at a Seventh-day Adventist school called Oakwood, then Oakwood College, now Oakwood University.
And what did you want to be? Like, what did you go to college for?
So I majored double in computer science and mathematics.
Oh, okay. So you're intelligent, but you chose to, like, when did you discover that you had a crazy, incredible voice? Because when I grew up, it was like you were the voice. It was you, it was Boyz II Men. And I think that even R&B back then, it really championed talent versus social media today is more or less about image and just being a social media influencer just as much as it is to be an R&B talent. When did you discover, or when did people first tell you, hey, you got this crazy voice, and you start to consider, hey, maybe I want to be a singer?
When you grew up singing in church, people are telling you that, but you don't really think that there's a possibility you're going to do it as a job. You look at Michael Jackson, you're like, I'm not that. I can't be that.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I actually started writing the songs in my head that I realized that I wanted a job writing songs.
So you just wanted to be a writer?
Yeah. The concept, of course, because if I go and try to be an artist, coming from a Seventh-day Adventist background, where my brother, who sings in Take Six, he's the founder of Take Six.
Right.
They went the gospel route. And God bless them for that. I couldn't do that because I knew that my life would have to be together. If I decided I couldn't be a hypocrite and be up on I grew up playing in churches. I learned to play playing in churches.
Yeah.
And when you are a church musician, you get to see behind the curtain.
Yeah.
About a lot of foolishness that's going on that you're like, man, I can't stand too close to this dude because if that lightning bolt comes down, we're all gonna get it. So I made that decision once I started writing songs. I'm like, I used to tell this funny joke on stage. I'm like, even the pastor, when he's getting with Mrs. Pastor, is not listening to hymns when they're deciding to get together. So I can be the guy to write the songs for everyone who wants to be in love, who wants to, whether you're in love, getting out of love, broken heart, I can do that. And really, as an 18, I got my first publishing deal at 18 to write. It wasn't until people started hearing the songs, like, well, who's singing? I was like, well, that's me. Well, who's playing the instruments? Like, that's me. Who's producing? That's me. But do you want a record deal? Okay.
Was it a clash amongst your family or church when you decided that, hey, I want to sing? But then the way that because I grew up Pentecostal, evangelical, right. It was like, well, you want to do the world's music or you want to do secular music, right? Was it a clash within your family or within the church?
I didn't think that there was. And I think where I was a little naive is that as I'm going down that road, I'm in California by myself.
Okay.
Away from my family. Whatever they were dealing with at home because of the decisions I made, I don't know. I mean, my mother and I talked about that before she passed, that there were a lot of things that she dealt with. And that's a whole other story about, doing things and doing the right things and doing things not to embarrass the family and that kind of thing that we can get into. But for me, I was very singularly focused on what I wanted to do.
Yeah. I
had a plan. I knew that if I sign this deal, I'm going to write the songs, period. Mm-hmm. If I do any of this, it's really my decisions. And I'm okay with making those decisions as a 20-year-old, if they're the right ones or the wrong ones. It has to be me. I suppose they could have called all the greatest producers in the world to come in and the greatest writers, but hats off to Ed Eckstein, who signed me, that he saw something in me that, my first deal I signed at 20, but my record didn't come out till I was 22, almost 23.
Right.
I developed.
So did you have like an A&R? Because today, it's almost as though the artists, they have to come already with a following, already put together, it's almost like they're just signing distribution deals.
Right.
And there is no development, artist development, learning how to write songs, vocal coaches, whatever it is that it takes, depending on, which genre of music that you exist in. Was there an A&R and was there more of a development process? Even to the point to where, I'm from Detroit, so I grew up understanding Motown, Berry Gordy, Smokey Robinson, all of those type of guys. And it seems like there was like a development school, almost like a boot camp. When you came out, because you came out in the early 90s, was there a development process for how you, wound up becoming who you are and the Brian McKnight that you are? Because you said that you only wanted to write. You didn't necessarily want it to be the talent.
I would say not for the music itself. I wrote 75 songs for that first album.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah. They picked those 13 from 75 songs.
So what happened to the other 59 songs?
So here's songwriting 101. Not everything you write is going to be great.
Right.
But every song gets you to the next song.
Okay.
So there may have been 15 duds in there. And here's the problem with really being able to sing. You can make anything sound good. That doesn't make it a hit.
Right.
So you're looking for hits.
Yeah.
And when I listen to that record, I don't hear a bunch of hits, but I hear 2 real ones.
Do you go back and listen to your previous catalog?
I try not to.
Why not?
Because technology has changed so much in 35 years.
Yeah.
Because One Last Cry was written in 1989.
Wow. But it wasn't released until 1992. Yeah.
So I sing differently. I approach singing differently. I approach writing differently. And to go back and listen to all I'm going to do is critique myself. It'd be like asking you, go back and look at
I hate my
every video you made in the beginning.
I hate them.
And it's funny, when I started doing some content, you have people who are critiquing you. It's like, hey, you need to do this. And it's like, dude, I literally just started doing this way. It's going to get better, trust me.
I leave it up, but I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate looking at myself.
where I was writing those songs. I don't love the way they sound. I don't love necessarily some of my choices. I oversang everything on that record because I wanted to prove that I belonged.
Yeah.
As you move into the second record and the third record, we get to Anytime. That's when I figured out, it's like, okay, this is who the core of what Brian McKnight's gonna be. By the time Back at One came, I was like, it was on autopilot.
Do you feel like you were ever robbed or taken advantage of in the record industry?
See, this is an interesting point because when you sign the contract, you know what you're signing.
Okay.
You can try to lie to yourself and not say that you see what's going on. I just don't think we understand what's actually happening. Somebody is paying all the money for something that you're doing, which means they're going to make all the money back before you make a dime. So every time you take a limo, every time you do a hotel, every time you step into a studio, somebody's paying for that.
So these artists know. They know.
Well, I think they're naive. They're naive to think that, because all we see is the end product. When you see these, the artists at the Grammys and they got on the suit and they're getting out of the limo, they're like, oh, they're rich.
Yeah.
I didn't get in this business saying, I want to be rich. I got in this business saying, I want to make a difference.
Yeah.
I want to be held in the same regard as my heroes. If you say, it was funny, I read the comments. Yes, I do.
Everybody reads comments.
Everybody does, yeah.
But we try to make it seem like celebrities don't pay attention to what people are saying or reading comments.
Yeah, I think it can be unhealthy to do it a lot, but occasionally I'll go back and I'll look at a song that has 91 million views, and I look at the comments, and someone, he's the greatest singer ever. Well, no, he's not better than these 15 guys. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I think the other thing that people don't understand about me, I'm not competing against you, my contemporaries. I'm really only competing against me.
Is that a newer mindset and development versus what it was back in the late 80s, early 90s?
Well, when I started, I was competing.
Yeah.
Once you start having hits, now you got to beat those hits.
Oh, okay.
Now I got to do better. My first record did almost 2 million. My second record didn't do 1 million. So now I'm like, well, what happened?
Yeah.
What did I do? It wasn't, who beat me. It's like, as the person who is creating these songs, the person who's responsible for them, what can I do to turn this around? And that's where Anytime came in.
Who did you look up to? Like who were you inspired by when you first started to come into the music industry?
So as a musician and a singer, the list is vast. So Stevie Wonder's probably at the very top of the list.
Really?
Steve and Donny Hathaway. I can remember a very vivid story after my voice changed and came back. It changed when I was 12 because I'd been singing all that time with my brothers. At 12, it changed. I didn't sing again until I was 15 when I got my voice back. And that's when in those 3 years, when I started studying people. And that's also when I really taught myself to play. So the very first solo I did in church at 15, I did my best Stevie Wonder impression.
So everything that you do is self-taught because you play multiple different instruments.
Yeah.
So it's all self-taught.
Except the trumpet. I played trumpet in 6th grade. So I know how to read the music. And but everything else is self-taught.
That's incredible.
Thank you. But I did that Stevie impression, and I was patting myself on the back. I was like, yeah, I did that. And my mom, my little 5-foot-tall mom, who now realizes that I can play, who is a classically trained piano player, who, we'd go to church on Saturday morning, she's playing. On Sunday morning, she's playing in another church. Comes to me and says, what was that? I was like, I killed. She was like, there's already a Stevie Wonder. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you going to be?
Yeah.
So that's when I started listening to lots of other things. So whether it's Nat King Cole and Frank Sinatra, because I'm a jazz head, it's in my granddaddy. He led bands in the 30s before he got saved, as it were.
Yep.
So that jazz is in us. And in the Seventh-day Adventist church back then, there were no drums in church. There were no instrumentation. It was a piano and an organ. And you got to get your rhythm from something else.
Yeah.
If you started having a beat at something, that's worldly. People start dancing. Oh no, that is a no. So I have no idea where we are now.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I like to jump around because again, I have so many different questions
Right.
just based off of growing up off the music,
Right.
seeing you evolve, and then your longevity, right? But let me go back a little bit before we get into the current, because touring, right?
Right.
They say that artists make the majority of their money, especially when they first, back in the 90s and when they got into the game, they made the majority of their money off of touring. Is that true?
It depends on the artist that you are.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't write anything, you don't produce anything, but you sell a lot of records, you will make a lot of money on tour, a la Celine Dion.
Yeah.
If you have a big enough following, or Whitney, you can become that. You won't necessarily participate in writers' royalties or publishing royalties. I guess you will as an artist, because the publishing, you may or may not, because you're having to share that with so many different people.
Yeah.
But if you can tour, touring is where you're going to make the lion's share of your money, particularly later on, because at some point your record's going to stop selling. I don't care who you are.
Right.
So for me, being pretty much the only writer, or one of two in the beginning, and then, by myself, that means publishing, that means writers' royalties, that means everything down the line. Even now with streaming and everything, you get to participate on so many different levels.
How do you feel about streaming? Because actually buying the physical album or the vinyl is much different than, streaming. And it seems like every week it's a trillion different people that releases albums, and then the next week you forget about the people that released the album the previous week. How do you feel about streaming and streaming services?
It's a double-edged sword, because when we used to sell records, there was something that was tangible. You could take home, you could read liner notes, you could look at different things. There was a product that you were buying. Now, it's great because you can't fake it. Your streams are your streams.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, there's been some conjecture about that, but for the most part, your streams are your streams. And now people are in control of what they listen to.
Yeah.
The radio station's only going to give you 35 songs this week. That's it. You can now go to Spotify, you can go wherever you stream music and listen to what you want to. The problem is that the lion's share of that is free.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to pay. Now, if you're like me and you don't want to hear commercials, you'll pay for it.
Yeah.
When this first happened, we weren't in front of it. When Napster first happened, we weren't in front of it to really. So I've been on Capitol Hill trying to get legislation, particularly for songwriters, because songwriters are now sort of left out of that pot to a greater extent. And the crazy thing about that is I'm on Capitol Hill with my wife, who was then my girlfriend, and I'm going into these senators' offices, and they're like, Brian, why are you upset? You have a hot girlfriend. I'm like, what? I can't, Anton, I'm telling you, it happened at least 4 times on that trip. And it just gave me such a bad taste in my mouth, because the lobbyists for the streaming companies were there the next day with checks. We're just trying to get some rights for some writers. I'm there. Rob Thomas is there. The head of ASCAP was there. We're all there to advocate for songwriters.
Right.
And it just seems like we're the forgotten ones when we are the most important people to music. Mm-hmm. Without the song, what do you got?
What do you think about the state of music today? Because I see it, I don't see a lot of R&B
well, are you saying the state of R&B or the state of music?
Well, the state of R&B.
Okay.
I want to say the state of R&B because I want to be very specific.
The problem is that we're calling it R&B.
Oh, okay. I got what you're saying.
Even us in the 90s, I didn't sound like the Temptations. I didn't sound like Smokey. It was a disservice to those that came before us to label us the same as them and then compare us to them the same way. It is a disservice to take the artists of today who are just creating the music that they've been blessed to create and to compare them to us. I think that it's wrong. I think that that's something that should be discussed, because when somebody puts their pen to paper and they go in the studio and they create something, it's still something.
Yeah.
Now, I remember my parents did not like what I listened to at all.
I don't think any parent does.
You know, I'm 56 years old.
Yeah.
I may not understand it, but somebody's streaming the heck out of it.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it's in bad shape necessarily. I think that the business of music is in bad shape, particularly for the artists and for the writers. But more music is being made than ever has been. More people are listening to music now than ever has been.
Yeah.
So it's really which perspective you come. 'Cause I used to be one of those guys. I used to be, man, what is this music? And David Foster took me to the side. I said, hey, man, don't be that guy. Don't be that older guy who can't appreciate the fact that somebody's still creating something.
Right.
And it gave me just a whole different perspective on where music is and where we've always had this discussion. At the end of the 50s or at the end of the jazz era in the 40s when rock and roll, and nobody liked rock and roll. Rock and roll was rebellious. And then Elvis comes along, it's like, whoa, 60s with folk music. What is this? And then, you know, all those great artists from the 60s come in, even Stevie and Marvin and all that came around. And then disco, we can forget about disco, except for the Bee Gees. But then the 80s, then the 80s come along, and Earth, Wind & Fire and other bands. But, you know, every 10 years. Now I think it's less, probably every 5 years, or maybe every 3 years. But it used to be about every 10 years, there's going to be remember the 80s, you got Richie Sambora on top of a mountain playing a guitar solo. As soon as grunge came along, that was the end of the guitar solo, the end of the hair bands, and that took over. Now there's no more rock bands at all. But
yeah, there aren't.
Yeah, you know, it's cyclical. We keep saying, "Oh, it's going to come back." I don't know.
You are one of the most, if not the most, Grammy-nominated artists that has never actually received the Grammy.
Right.
How do you feel about that? Did that used to bother you? Is that something that still bothers you?
No, I don't think it ever bothered me.
Never bothered you?
No. My trophies are counted in platinum. If an award that the public doesn't vote for, I get one, I will appreciate it. And I'm not diminishing anybody else's. I've been in a room with a guy that has 25 of them, and I think that's great. If you have the votes, you'll win. If you don't, you won't.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
You don't feel robbed?
No, not really. My brother's got 10. And most people don't necessarily know that. I think. Listen, just like an Oscar, it's all subjective on some level. You know, it's like I can't worry about if I got in this to get an award. I'm in it for the wrong reason. I looked through the comments, or the other night, my wife, who sits sort of in the back watching the show, is filming a woman on the front row who is in tears, listening to me sing this particular song. What could be better than that? And that song is 30 years old.
Do you even realize how great your voice is? Cause you live with it. You know it's yours. And it's,
the quick answer is I remember having this conversation with somebody before that if Tiger Woods at a press conference after he just won the Masters.
Right.
And someone says, well, Tiger, how'd you do it? And he said, man, I'm Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be angry because I know that he's put in the work.
Yeah.
I put in the work, and I care that when people come to see me that I am as good or better than what they thought that I was. And if that means that I know it, I know what I'm capable of. I very rarely reach that potential in my own mind, but I get damn close. That's where I'm coming from. I don't know. I don't know, because there may be a kid out there who can blow me away just by stepping into the room.
I'm not so sure about that.
But for me,
I'm not so sure about that.
For me, can I come up with this change, and can I sing in a way that moves you? And didn't do it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. All the rest of it doesn't matter. Because I've seen people who aren't that musically talented fill up a stadium and kill.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about music. It's not like sports.
Yeah.
If you go out and drop 50, Austin Reeves dropped 50 the other night.
Yeah, he did. And he's killing it. He's still killing it. Yeah.
You know, when LeBron and Luka come back, are they going to recognize that he can? You know what I mean? Music isn't like that.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, I've heard people, because now everything is filmed.
Yeah.
You know, people say, I saw so-and-so. I saw their concert. Well, did you hear the concert? Did you hear it? Did you just see it? You know, so If you love the person, it doesn't matter. People's favorite artist is the greatest singer in the world to them. So I have seen my fans say that I'm the greatest singer in the world to them, and that's all I care about.
When you got into the industry, I know that you were more focused on being a writer than you were a singer. But eventually, you know, you had the albums and the hits and the platinum plaques and then touring. What is it like touring, or what was it like touring in the 90s?
In the beginning, it sucked.
Really?
Because even when you have a #1 hit on the chart in the beginning, you're still building an audience. So I remember being in Lake Charles, Louisiana. My song is in the
Lake
top.
Charles, Louisiana.
Oh yeah, that's where you start. You don't start in Detroit. You don't start in New York.
Yeah.
Not then. You don't start in Chicago. Do
they define it as a chitlin circuit
it's
for
not,
R&B singers?
Not necessarily, but the bigger stations, because you start off on a promotional tour. I was on my first promotional tour for a year.
Okay.
Not getting paid for free as promotion to promote my songs.
Yeah.
That then I could go do on tour. So what you think is, I got this hit, I'm playing a stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. I'm playing Lake Charles, Louisiana at midnight with chicken wire so people don't throw things at me.
Really?
It was wild, man. It was not...
With a hit?
With a hit. With a hit song. Because you got to remember, this is not social media era.
Yeah.
This is your songs playing on the radio, and people don't necessarily... They can't yet connect who's singing this. They know the song, but they don't know
the person that's singing it. Yeah.
Even though there's videos, there's who knows what they think. But wanting to quit, like, this isn't what I signed up for. This isn't what I thought it was going to be, turned into my very first tour where, still, I'm not making a lot of money. I'm sharing a band with another guy. We get to a city, he gets sick, I got to play 3 shows that night.
Wow.
It wasn't until my second album where that's when I'm out. It's me, D'Angelo, and Brownstone, and we're finally playing theaters. And I'm starting to feel, but it's every day. It's a grind. It's not like now where I go out on the weekends and it's cool. We're on a bus, we play, we get on the bus that night, go to the next city, play the next night.
Yeah.
So you're moving so quickly. I promise you, it wasn't until the end of the Back at One tour 10 years later that I finally took a chance to breathe and was like, whoa, I have arrived. Because now we're in stadiums. Now it's a whole different thing. But all the work that it took to get there, you don't have time to go, what am I feeling? How do I, you're just working. I was just working.
Yeah. How do you maintain a relationship at that early of an age? How old were you when you went on your first tour?
I was 22.
And then how old were you when you first got married?
20.
How does that work? What does that look? Because, and I'm gonna tell you why I say that, because people today with, relationships are really a big thing. You have women decentering men today. You have men red pilling and saying, you know what, I see what the reality is, and I'm not really sure I want to do this, because just as much as I want to get married, I'm just as fearful of divorce. Mm-hmm. But back then, it seemed like it was a lot different, and maybe it was just because we didn't have social media. But then you factor in the fact that, you explode after you get married, right? So what does that look like? How did you meet your first wife?
So let me preface all this by saying that I hope, and the reason why I decided to do this with you, there might be a dude out there right now who can learn from all of my mistakes. And that's what this is about. It's not about airing out this or doing that or talking. This is, 2 men talking about how men who are now older can mentor these younger guys into not making, a smart man learns from his own mistakes and a wise man learns.
Let me preface this by saying that we've never talked about this on the phone. And
never.
We've had numerous conversations on the phone. As a matter of fact, I want to let you guys in on a little secret that when we were introduced to each other and when we started interacting with each other, we never talked about interviewing. We never talked about sitting down. And this has been over a couple of years, I believe now. Yeah. And so we just have a normal, organic friendship / relationship, connected by different things that we see happening in popular culture, so on and so forth. So us sitting down right now is really a surprise probably to you and me, because I think that it's an opportunity for you to tell your story, considering, and I want to hear the whole story, considering all of the narratives, that's been created. And that's why when I'm asking these questions, I'm asking it because I want to get to the foundation before we get to the truly understand where we at, right? So how did you meet your first wife?
Our two families are two prominent families in the Black Adventist Church.
Okay.
We both met at the college where I was going to school.
Oh,
she came, I was a sophomore, she was a freshman. We kind of started dating, whatever. Long story short, the next year she gets pregnant. And because these two families, this is back when shame was a real thing.
I know, I get it. I already know.
And that whole school year, I'd been in the studio every day. I was this close to a deal. And I told my mother, like, listen, if I could stay here with my aunt, if I don't get a record deal by my birthday, which was June, she's back home, she tells me she's pregnant and that she's going to get an abortion. Right? I'm like, yeah, we should probably do that. I mean, you're 18, I'm 20.
Yeah.
Why would we? I'm just about to start this whole thing. Maybe this is the route we need to go. And she agrees. And we have this whole thing. She goes by herself, crying thing, whatever. I'm like, dodged a bullet. I'm going out to sign my deal in California because I got it the week before my birthday. My birthday's in June. Got the deal the last weekend in May. I fly out. She had picked up some weight. I'm like, we need to go run? We need to do something? She's like, no. When I leave there and get back to Huntsville, that's when she called me and said, actually, I didn't have the abortion.
Did you suspect that she didn't?
No,
you were of the impression that she had went through with it.
Yeah, because when we started dating, she told me about an abortion she had when she was in high school.
Gotcha.
So this was not the first time this happened.
Yeah.
And, I've said all this before, so I'm not...
it's not new information.
It's not new, it's not new information. So now I'm like, I got to tell my mom what's going on, because now we're past the time for all that. We got to figure out what's going on.
You hadn't signed your deal yet?
I signed my deal.
So you signed your deal?
I signed my deal.
Got you.
I'm signed, I'm good to go.
Do you think that played a role? Was that a factor?
We'll talk about that in a second. Okay. I don't think so. I think there's a whole other sinister thing that happened, in my opinion. But my mother, who played the piano and was singing in the choir every week, in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, if your kid has a baby out of wedlock, you no longer can hold any church office. You can't sing up in front. You can't do it. You are held responsible for whatever the kids do. This is what happened when we played sports, because you can't play on Friday night. And all the football games and basketball games are on Friday nights.
Yep.
This is what I remember vividly. I'm scoring touchdowns, and the pastor calls my mother into the study. It's like, your son is in the paper on the Sabbath scoring touchdowns. Now, if you want to continue to be a member in good and regular standing, that's what you're gonna have to figure this out. So that was that, and it happened to all my brothers. I thought that enough time had passed for me that would be the case. This is the same situation. So I honored my mother, and I tried to do the right thing with a woman that I hadn't even known a year yet. We got married in September.
Wow.
Baby in November.
I tell guys all the time that the person that you lay with and or have a child with is a person that you are essentially going to be connected to the rest of your life.
Right.
Virtually. And I tell them that it's probably more important for you to pay attention to who you have a child with, because I see a lot of people, they are concerned about divorce. They're not necessarily concerned about who it is that they have a child with. So you telling this story, but then also at the same time doing the quote unquote right thing, because I was born and raised in a church also. And so it was the same thing as far as the different things, different people that came back and forth. And if you was gonna lay with her, you was definitely gonna marry her. Right. Now, all the way in 2025,
Here we are. Yeah.
So you sign a deal, but she's still in California.
No, so once I signed the deal, the label that signed me, which was Mercury Wing, was in California.
Okay.
So I moved to California, and she and I and the baby lived with her parents.
So that's how you ended up in California, essentially.
Yeah, I didn't have to go to California, but, I honestly really tried to do the right thing. It didn't work for my dad. It didn't work for me.
What was the relationship like, considering that your life was changing? You were now in the music industry. You were going in a whole nother direction. You had to tour, you had to promote, you had to do all of these different things.
Well, interestingly enough, I was just writing then.
Okay.
So I was flying back and forth to Huntsville. And we had sort of an agreement. You handle this part. I'm not changing diapers. I'm 20 years old. This was not what I expected to do.
Mm-hmm.
You made this decision. You're going to handle that, and I'm going to handle this.
Yeah.
But remember, at this point, I'm making like $400 a week writing songs.
Yeah.
But that's not how you want to start your life, married to somebody with a child.
Yeah.
It wasn't, but I wasn't concerned about that. I was getting my dream off the ground.
Do you feel like it hindered you a little bit because you had to be concerned about what was going on at home just as much as you were concerned about what was happening in your career? And I ask this question because, again, I want people to really take something from this, because I think that a lot of times, even today, with all of the learned lessons and all of the conversations that we have, we don't lean on the lessons from people that's already been through it. And a lot of people are just laying up with each other, and they're not really taking into consideration the consequences or how much more difficult it's going to be for them to achieve whatever it is that they believe that their purpose is, once they get with that girl and once their lives are changed forever, because you can't take back what it is that that you're into. Do you think that it was a conflict, at the time, because you're so young and you still got to focus on home, but then at the same time, you're still trying to crank out this career and write these songs and do what you ultimately came to do, which is become Brian McKnight that we all know and love, right? I
don't think I was concerned at all.
Really?
Anton. I think when you make that bargain, you say, hey, you're going to take care of this. This is your responsibility.
Mm.
And they say, got it. And you go and you do what you have to do. You're expecting that to be the case. What we don't realize is that people will tell you whatever it is they want to tell you to keep you there or to make it seem like, until that first argument or until, then the real thing starts to come out. But by then, you're looking at your life, you're like, well, and I had this conversation with my mother, like, why did you have me do this? You tried this, it didn't work. Now you got me doing it.
Right.
And it was tough, but I'm already in it. I'm in it, and that's the reason why nobody knows this, because it's not in any of these books that are out there.
Right.
We separated 4 times before we ended up getting divorced ultimately anyway.
Really? How far into the marriage was would you say the first separation?
2 years.
Because you were married for what, 13 years?
Yeah, 13.
And so 2 years in, there was a separation.
Yep.
And then you come back, and then it's another separation.
Yep.
Wow. So why not just break off? Why stick it out for 13 years?
For the kids.
Because it almost seemed as though the way that we're framing this, it kind of seems like an arranged marriage to an extent because of the kids.
Yeah. Listen, you're torn because I was never in love with their mother. I wasn't. They weren't made from love to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And I said this before, and people got so mad that this obligation that just because you lay with somebody now, it's sort of an 18-year sentence of some kind, or beyond that, because it's forever. And there's resentment there.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you do have these children, and you want to try to do your best to do right by them. And in a couple of those separations, especially with the younger child, he didn't know me. He'd come over, he'd dropped off at my house, and, he'd cry for however long, and he wouldn't want to be there. And it's understandable why he wouldn't. If we were never supposed to be together like this in the first place, but we have these children, it's a two-parent situation. It's not one.
Yeah.
It's not, we both have to do what's right for them. And you're right. What we should have done was just separated for good then.
Yeah.
And we didn't. And the last separation that we had, and we came back, it was because of that. It was like now I was 98, so he's 6.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still feeling that way, even though he's been living in the house with me and now he's back gone again. And I was just like, listen, I need some time so I can have a better relationship with him.
Yeah.
And ultimately, once I felt like that was the case, it was time to move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about, what was the nail in the coffin? What was because see, you had been through the separations multiple different times, right? But then eventually you guys come to the conclusion, all right, you know what, we just gonna go our separate ways.
Mm.
What's that nail in the coffin that then leads you to say, or leads both of you to come to the conclusion that you guys are no longer good together in any capacity, regardless of whether or not you have kids or not?
I think we always knew we weren't that.
Okay.
I think she may have been lying to herself if she thought otherwise.
Mm.
For me, when I realized I could parent those boys without her, I could be a good parent. I could be there for them and I could give them what they needed from me without being married to their mother.
Yeah. Do you think that the kids were the thing that kept y'all together as long as you were?
Absolutely.
Wow. Because I see so many guys going through the same thing.
Right.
So you guys wind up separating for good. Does the relationship, and when I say relationship, the dynamic between you two, is it ever good afterwards?
It's not bad. Do you know what I mean? We didn't talk unless it had something to do with the kids, which was great.
Yeah.
So we separated in 2001.
Okay.
We'll get into the finances later. We divorced in 2003.
Okay.
So for those 3 years, they lived in LA and were back and forth between our two houses. When we got divorced and she got her final settlement, she wanted to go move to North Carolina, be closer to her parents, and her money would go longer, obviously.
Did you, and I'm okay if you don't answer this question, do you feel like you got taken to the cleaners financially?
No.
You don't?
No.
Why you say that?
Because it could have been a lot worse.
How were you able to get through it without it being as bad as it could have been?
Because I'm a really, really, really smart guy.
Yeah, I understand.
And I played the long game.
Okay.
I made sure to make it as attractive to her as I could.
Okay.
Without giving up anything that I didn't assume I was going to have to. So
did you lose any, because a lot of times for us regular people, right? For us regular folks, we have pensions and 401ks and all of these type of things.
Right.
For someone like you that has, you're a writer and publishing and all of these different things, did you have to give up any of that?
Yeah, so that's the only part that stung. I had to give up a percentage of the songs that I wrote during the marriage.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. That hurt. That hurt because I wrote those.
Yeah.
I wrote that. But at the same time, she could have taken the house.
Mm-hmm.
She could have taken the other property. So ultimately, I can write more songs.
Right.
But those ones, those big hits, now you say we should have separated earlier. We should have separated in 95 for good.
Yeah.
Because that's that anytime back at one superhero, that isn't a part of the deal. But, what I thought at the time was, And of course, it's a double dip. You're getting spousal and child support and a piece of these. So, the revenue that I would be using to pay those, now you're getting a piece of that too.
So wait a minute. You had to pay spousal support.
Mm-hmm.
You had to pay child support.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to give up a percentage of your songs?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I don't know how you feel like you got ahead then. That's what part I'm trying to figure out. Is it just because she could have took more?
Yep. In California, it starts at 50.
It starts at 50?
At least then it started at 50, and then they start seeing what else they can take. So that wasn't anywhere near 50% of what I was worth.
Yeah.
So I felt like, anytime...
Those are still your babies, though.
They are my babies. They are. But I couldn't... Once I write them, they actually belong to the public.
Yeah.
From that perspective, from a sentimental standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And because there was no emotional currency in those songs, it was really just how I funded my lifestyle necessarily.
Yeah.
And even when I say that, people get mad. You mean to tell me that wasn't written for someone? Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
The whole point of me learning to write songs was if I'm waiting on emotional currency, I'm gonna get writer's block because nobody can live that much. I have 20 albums.
Yeah.
In the relatively short period of time. So I just write. I'm a product of every environment that I'm in. And it wasn't until I met my wife, Leilani, that I actually started, I started actually using emotional currency as the fuel for the songs that I write.
What year did you meet your current wife, and how did you guys meet?
So we met in 2012, and my wife was on hiatus from...
So this was 10 years after you had already gotten divorced.
And I've been divorced 22 years.
Wow, okay.
So this was 10 years. But we didn't start dating yet. When I met Leilani, she was like, I'll tell you the most incredible story. I met her at a fitness convention. I had invested in a fitness product with a buddy of mine. And she was signing calendars for Maxim.
Okay.
When Maxim was a thing.
Yep,
right?
I remember.
I'm on the aisle with this fitness glove. She comes walking down the aisle. I thought she was an apparition. I didn't think she was real. I had never seen a woman that looked exactly how I would have drawn her if I wanted her.
Mm.
This is what I see coming down the aisle to me.
Yeah.
And I prayed to God and prayed to God. And I was like, God, just let her talk to me. Let her just,
But you're Brian McKnight.
Doesn't matter because...
You've seen...
Not this.
Women
not this.
Trying to get to you.
No.
Shows, albums. No. You got
not
the
this.
Craziest voice ever.
Mm.
How do you... And don't get me wrong, because she's a sweet woman. Like, I actually met her. She's awesome. And so this is no knock to her. But this is really, you, right?
But think about that. I'd seen everything.
Right.
Except that. If God put this person in front of me like this has to be some sort of divine intervention.
Yeah.
I got her number, and I've never done this in my life. I put her number in my phone right then and called it because I was so concerned that she gave me a fake number.
Really?
Yep. And I said, listen,
you turned into a regular person.
Dude? I was like, can we get a coffee or something? She's like, listen, I don't live here, but I come every night. I'm going to meet a colleague over in Santa Monica, I'll call me tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah.
I had to stay there about another hour, but on my way home, I called her. I was like, hey, it's Brian that you just met at the thing. Where are you? She's like, well, I'm in Santa Monica. Now, Santa Monica is not on my way home.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I'm in Santa Monica. I was like, okay, bet. So I drove towards
Wow,
that way.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm in Santa Monica. Where are you? She's like, oh, I'm at the end of the pier at the Mexican joint. I was like, okay, I'm coming down. I just want to see you. So I'm walking down the thing and I can't find her. I call her again, and then I finally see her. She's about 30 yards away, and she sees me, and she starts running. And she jumps into my arms. And I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, I'm hitting this tonight.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Long story short, we leave. Matter of fact, here's another thing. I forgot my wallet. And I was so excited I forgot my wallet in the car. And when I told her I did, she's like, it's cool. She paid for dinner, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Gave me a ride back to my car. I called her on the way home. I was like, listen, this your friend, come over. She's like, what? For what? I was like, just come over. She's like, listen, I got to fly back to Seattle tomorrow. She lived in Seattle at the time. And, I come back to LA every now and then, we'll get together. Next day, Anton, I got a flight to Seattle.
Wow.
I'm on my way to the airport. And I'm calling her. Her assistant tells her, listen, this guy Brian has been calling all day. So she hands her the phone. She's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? She's like, I was like, I'll tell you, I'm on my way to Seattle. And verbatim, she said, like, listen, if you are coming up here to have sex with me, save your time and your money.
Is that what she said?
That is literally what she said. And in my head, I'm like, I'm Brian McKnight. Right? I don't She's like, I don't care about all that. If I want to get to know you, right. Not this you or this persona.
Yeah.
I want to get to know you. And that was the beginning of this whirlwind romance.
Oh my gosh. She just completely took you over.
But I can remember
being authentic.
We dated and she came, the first time she stayed at my house, right? She goes into the bathroom to change her clothes to get ready for bed. Yeah. I'm like, okay, finally. This is like a year later.
Really?
Like, finally, she's coming over. She's in the... Anton, she came out of the bathroom with what looked like a scuba suit on. All the way up to here, all the way down to there.
I almost want to ask her, what was she thinking?
She gets in she doesn't get in the bed. She just lays on top of the covers that says goodnight.
Wow.
Now, the whole night, I'm sitting there like, but do I try? If I try, do I?
Yeah.
And that's, that was sort of our relationship. And then, 2 years later, we actually started dating for real.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you got married. You guys married when?
In 2017.
So you have been married for 8 years.
Yeah. Coming up 8 years this December.
What is it like being married to the person that you feel like if you would have drawn them, this is who they would have been?
I wish I would have been a virgin when we met.
Really?
I absolutely do. Because that's how I feel. I don't remember what life was like before.
Yeah.
Don't care to, don't want to, don't. When you are actually in love with somebody, everything that you ever thought about that is true. Every cliche is true. We wake up in the morning. We were just, making the bed this morning, and I'm just all smiles.
Yeah.
Because that's your person. Mm-hmm. Everything that we do, we spend almost every second of the day together. It never gets old. It's never. We don't have to try.
Yeah.
It is the most special thing that has ever happened in my life.
I seen the way that you guys interacted. Just when you walked in, like you were holding hands and everything. Right. And I'm like, no way they've been married for this long.
Yeah. But together, we've known each other for 14 years, been together for, 12 and a half, almost 13.
Wow. That's incredible. That really is incredible. Because it's almost like, I hear this a lot from people, and that the second time is usually better than the first, because the first, most guys that I've talked to, they stick around for the kids. Mm. When they don't necessarily know if this is what they're supposed to be doing. But then at the same time, it seems like because most people that get divorced actually remarry. And it seems like the second time around, people really, really fall head over heels for the person that they're with.
Well, because now I can't speak for them. I knew what it was when I saw her. Mm. And that's before I knew anything about her. The fact that we're both on our second marriage is, I hear for some of the content I used to do about single moms and baby daddies and all those women that, need somebody to take care of their kids, whatever. And I know you're not fond of that idea.
Well, I'm not fond of men with no kids becoming a stepfather to women that have kids.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Leilani has 2 kids from her previous marriage. Mm-hmm.
But you also had kids.
I did. And the very first time we spent any time together, I saw the most well-behaved, most respectful kids I've ever seen in my life.
Why do you think that is?
Because she's their mother.
So do you believe that the children culturally that we see today and operating, that they're a direct reflection of their mother? The person that they spend the majority of their time with.
Whoever they spend the majority of their time with is going to be who they're the reflection of.
Yeah.
For sure.
You've ran into so much controversy, and I don't know why. It was really just like a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago or so. You've ran into a lot of controversy, even to the point to where your son was on the internet talking and going back and forth and I guess telling his version of the story. How did this come about? Like, how did it come about to where, because I know it was in my hometown, I believe, where all of this kind of just blew up, right, in Detroit. And I believe you were there for a show at Motor City Casino, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And you had performed there multiple different times.
Had a yearly contract, sometimes twice a year.
Yeah.
There.
And it's almost like, for whatever reason, your past or the children that you had in your past somehow, some way came back to haunt you. As you were blossoming in this new relationship and in this new marriage where you head over heels with this woman. How did that come about? Because I did research, but I can't quite pinpoint where the turn happened and how that came about. From your perspective, how did that come about?
So I told you we split from the first marriage in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
We divorced in 2003.
Okay.
So in 2003, my two sons from that marriage were 14 and 11.
In 2003?
In 2003.
14 and 11.
14 and 11.
Okay.
When they turned 18 and 15, in that space, it was birthdays, it was summers with me, it was holidays with them. And even once, I think in 2006, I had her and her whole family come stay at my house for Thanksgiving.
Really?
Yeah.
So you guys weren't clashing from 2003?
The only clash we had was when the older one decided he didn't want to be in school anymore.
Is this the oldest one?
Oldest, yeah. He didn't want to be in school anymore. And I told her, it's like...
And you were paying for the school?
No, they were going to a fantastic public school there.
Okay,
in Raleigh.
Okay. So they weren't in college at the point where he was...
No, they were in high school and middle school.
I got you.
She decided to take them both out and homeschool them.
Okay.
And I said to her, this is not the decision that you need to make.
So, okay, before we get into that, though, the co-parenting between you guys, no problems whatsoever?
None.
Because it was quiet on all fronts.
None.
Up until recently.
None.
Okay, so you guys were co-parenting.
Yep.
She had moved on with her life.
Right.
You had moved on with your life.
Correct.
And then now, the oldest no longer wants to go to school.
Doesn't want to go to school. Because remember, she took them from L.A. with all their friends, took them to North Carolina.
Was that against your will, or?
No, I didn't want to cause any problems. I understood that, you're getting $18,000 a month. It's going to go way.
Wait, I'm sorry. How much?
Oh, I didn't tell you how much.
How much were you paying?
$18,000.
Is that child support and
$10,000 spousal? Wait, $8,000 spousal, and then 5 and 5 for the two kids.
Okay, wait a minute. So how long were you supposed to be paying spousal support?
So the spousal support was supposed to go until the younger one turned 23.
$8,000 a month until the younger one turned 23 years old?
Yeah. But that's also including his child support. So it would have been $13,000 until he turns 23.
Wait. But I thought that child support would end when they turn 18.
No. I agreed to that because I had a lot more going on at the time.
That's highway robbery. I'm sorry.
It was, but it was nothing compared to what it would have been. So
I'm sorry. That's highway robbery.
But listen, it gets even better than that. So
that's more than $200,000 a year.
Yeah. Yeah. It's right up there. It's right around that. So when they turn, so that's going on from 14 and 11 till 18 and 15. So the oldest turns 18. He wants to come back to California.
Mm-hmm.
So I say to her, listen, I don't want them to be separated. They want to be in music. They're getting good. I'll take them both back. But I'll continue to pay the child support if you're worried about not getting that extra.
Wait. So you were willing to continue to pay the child support, even though you were also willing to take the children in?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The older one, when he turned 18, that $5,000 stopped. So now it's just 13.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just,
right.
That's standard procedure. That has nothing to do with you.
I was concerned that she would say no, because the plan that I had for them, since they weren't going to go to college, that they wanted to be in music. I'm on tour. I'm on several world tours at this point. She agreed to let them come back. She continued to get her money. And I took them all over the world with me because I said, listen, you didn't grow up like me. I grew up singing in front of people, in church, everywhere. You guys have learned in the studio, and you're great, but you need to know what it's like to be out here on stage, to know the grind of having to have lobby call and be on time, the grind of having to do sound checks and be there and perform and do so. Come out with me. I'll have a section of my show where you guys can come out. I can introduce you. You can start to feel what it's like. And we did that for a while, a good while. Right up until, there's so much going on at this point. They're back with me. They, every day, I have about 20 kids in my house. Just on the floor, there's weed, there's all this other kind of stuff going on.
So wait a minute. So they're with you.
They're with me.
But now they're starting to get out of control in a sense.
In the midst of all of this, I got these jokers in my house who will show up, come in and not even speak to me. Like, hell, Miss McKnight, thank you for having us, or anything like that. It's like, it's crazy, the things that are going on. Both of their girlfriends are living at the house, along with all these other people who just, sleeping on the floor, sleeping,
So they're living like rock stars.
Oh, yeah, completely. Because when I'm gone, my cars are there. My bikes are there. Everything,
because you're on tour.
I got to lock everything down. I got to remember, because but they all have their own cars. That's the other thing. We'll get into that in a minute. But things just started getting out of control. So we did a tour where it's my brother from Take Six, my two boys, and myself. It's sort of like a McKnight. We're going to, the next phase of what we're doing. We got 4 shows left. We come home, and the two boys say, we miss our girlfriends. We ain't going back. We're done. We're done here.
No.
The promoters and everything's like, what's happening? What's going on?
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to go do the rest of these shows by myself, which is fine, or whatever. What most people don't know is that before Leilani ever moved in with me, we were already becoming estranged. She's the one that brought us back together.
Wow.
It was 2015, my birthday. And we have that moment of, let's get it together. Let's try. My wife facilitated that.
Wow.
And then she was my girlfriend.
Yeah.
So
she wasn't even your wife at the time.
As a blended family, Jack and Julia, who are Leilani's kids, who are my children now, we did so many things all together. But remember, we're not married yet. Not married yet. Somewhere along the way, when we decided to get married, that's when things started to go sideways.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I could speculate. In my opinion,
if you had to speculate.
In my opinion, the narrative about me was that I wasn't capable of loving somebody. I wasn't capable of being a faithful husband. I wasn't, capable. And he'll never get married. Oh yeah, he can act like this. He can put this woman on his Instagram, but he won't get married. Well, now he's getting married. Well, he's not going to get married. He's not going to go through with it. Even so much so that, it's crazy. When I was out in the street, doing everything under the sun, because I lived my 20s and my 30s.
Yeah.
As a single man.
Yep.
no problems, no anything.
So
Nothing.
it wasn't until you actually started to transition into really being that faithful,
Right.
that person that they weren't expecting for you to become, that then it started to create that environment or that problem.
Because I wouldn't have become that for them.
Oh, okay. I got what you're saying.
He isn't capable of doing that, but it's obvious that I am.
But as long as you're in the streets, it's
as long as I'm
cool.
in the street, it's cool. It's cool. So much so that even after a second marriage, you know, she's been married again, right?
Yeah.
Still named McKnight. Isn't that strange?
Yeah. That's the culture that we live in which there's so much decentering from men, but at the same time leveraging them to get what it is that you want from them, that now, and I've seen it with a lot of other celebrities, to where the actual ex-wife continues to either have a career or create visibility from themselves by still attaching themselves to that person that they're no longer in a relationship with and haven't been in a relationship with for a long time. And so I don't think that that's singular to just you.
Right.
I think that that's the nature of women. It just is what it is.
It's so disrespectful.
It is.
It is what it is. So moving right along, we end up getting married.
Mm-hmm.
My best men are Jack and these two boys. All both, and I'm going to bequeath you this video so you can make it a part of this.
Yep.
Where they're happy. They're toasting. Leilani is thanking me for allowing her to love them as her own children as we have this family. And even the younger one saying, now we're a family.
I'm incredibly happy. I wouldn't want anyone else but you, Leilani. I'm so happy, no, honestly. I'm so happy to have you, Jack, Julia, and the rest of your family as a part of our family now. And I'm happy to be a part of yours. I know this dude is. And I'm gonna try to do this without crying, because I'm literally tearing up right now. Tonight's about love, guys. And that's really it. So I wanna lift my glass with all of you guys right now, everyone. If you got water, orange juice, lean, whatever you got in there, hold it up. And we're gonna toast to the fact that two people sealed the love that they have for each other. They invited us all to be here. Every one of us in this room.
Fast forward to 2 years later. Now I got to stop. So I missed something, and this is very, very important. I really need you to hear me on this one. On or about 2015, the oldest son has children of his own.
Mm.
Now, when he had the first one,
more than one.
When he had the first one, the woman that he had the children with went on, I think, welfare or something. Now, what I didn't know is when you get that assistance that you're accruing as the father.
Yeah.
You guys pay this back.
They're gonna come back and get it.
They're gonna come back and get it.
Yeah.
His last address after I had moved them out of my house because I couldn't take the weed smoke and all that. But I told him, listen, here's an apartment. It's brand new. I'm going to pay for it for a year while y'all get yourselves together. You are now 25 and 22. 24 and 21.
So you were still trying to help them to become the men that they were supposed to be.
Right.
Even though they were fully grown adults.
Fully grown adults. 24 and 21. Here's your place. Now all your friends come up there. Be creative. You have all these people staying with you. Have them pay some rent. $100 here, whatever you have to do while you guys can get your music off the ground. They had produced a record at my house. It was out. It was doing well. My whole team put them at the Roxy on Sunset.
Yep.
They start doing live gigs. Not 50 people showed up the first time. The second one, maybe 75, 100 people showed up. It's going too slow. They quit. Here's this apartment. I'm going to pay for everything, but get your life together. Figure out what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. You have this much time. A year passes. They still haven't done it. I said, okay, I'll do another year. Here's your second year.
So they 26 at this point and 27 years old at this point.
They're 26 and 23. by then, right? But we're getting married.
Yeah.
I'm leaving to go out of the country, and I get detained because
The child
they're looking
support.
for him,
Yeah.
and we have the same name.
Yep. Yep.
He now has 2 from that same girl.
Mm.
And Leilani and I and her mother, we had sat them down and said, listen, what are y'all going to do? You got to get together. Well, she says to me, well, he told me you were going to pay for everything.
As a grown man?
When the second one comes, he comes and tells me that he just happened to be over there and she raped him. And I'm like, what? What is happening? This is where we are now?
Yeah.
So we go ahead and get married in a fairy tale ceremony. I'm going to give you all the video so you can see it. About 6 months later, the oldest calls me. He's like, listen, I don't have a place to stay. Can me and my new girlfriend come live with y'all for a while?
Both of them?
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't even the original girl?
No.
Wow.
As a father, I had to put my foot down because if I give in to this again, I said, no, you're going to have to figure this out. You're now 26, 27 years old. You got these 2 kids you're not taking care of.
Yeah.
You got this woman who now he has another baby with. Now
So he's a 2-time baby daddy.
So he's got this, and it's not about the baby daddy.
And I'm just, that's
it's
just
about,
what it is. It's just
you got
what
to
it is.
take care of your business. I'm not here to take care of, I got my own stuff I got to deal with.
Yeah.
Take care of it. So now he's having to deal with things on his own. And that's when, in 2019, when we decided to leave LA, he goes on his Instagram and tells everyone that he was abandoned, that I abandoned him and his brother. Abandoned.
Yeah. And let me say this. I just have to say this because I was having a conversation and a girl overheard and I said, yeah, I'm gonna go talk to Brian McKnight and I want to get his perspective and his words. And the girl was like, no, because he abandoned his kid. And I'm like, wait a minute. You don't even know. You going based off of do you not want to hear it from all sides first before you come to this conclusion? But see, this is why guys are so bitter. And this is my opinion. I know I'm interviewing you, but this is my opinion. This is why guys are so bitter because anybody can spin a narrative and then it completely, try to ruin your reputation that you've spent a lifetime building. And instead of us having these grown men hold themselves accountable and take care of their business and take care of their kids, now they basically are baby boy. It's baby boy. It's literally baby boy all over again. And it aggravates me because they've benefited from you but haven't really lived up to any expectations whatsoever.
None.
That bothers me. It really does bother me. So he goes on Instagram and basically says all of this crazy stuff.
Yep. I'm in the air flying to Guam. I got a show.
Yeah.
I land and my phone blows up.
Yeah.
My wife is like, look at this. What is this? Do you know how many times they showed up at her office after
crazy.
I told them no?
That's crazy.
And my wife gave them whatever they wanted out of her money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's our money, but
yeah, I understand.
Out of her money because she felt a certain kind of way about what was going on and she wanted to help them. She had offered them to get them jobs.
Yeah.
They didn't want to pass there's no way they were going to pass the drug test.
I don't think that they wanted jobs though. They just wanted to live off you.
Yeah,
You daddy, you got to take care of them for the rest of your life, apparently. So where does the clash happen between you and your ex-wife to where ultimately it leads to defamation?
When I told the truth about the origin of my songs, number one, I was doing an interview with a station in the city where she lives.
Okay.
Telling people, the truth about, where these songs come from. And apparently either she was friends with the girl or whatever the case may be. She took offense to that because on the one hand, you want to say I was a horrible husband, but then at the same time, you want to say that I wrote all my songs about you?
Right. Right.
I don't know. And I told the story about the abortion and all that. So she got in her mind that she's going to go and write this book and has been putting out these excerpts. And I'm like, that's not how that happened.
But she's been collecting $18,000 a month from you for the entirety of that time.
Yeah.
That you guys weren't even together.
Nope.
That's insane.
But wait,
That's
she
insane.
came back for more. Because remember when she got married a year before that was supposed to end.
Okay.
So it ended right then.
Right. So her getting married released you from the obligation of continuing to have to pay alimony.
Correct.
Okay. All
And
right,
the child support too.
Does it?
Yeah, it was the stipulation that
If you get married, then okay.
That was the end of that.
Well, she must have really loved that guy.
Yeah. I was hoping so.
Foregoing $18,000 a month.
I was hoping that was the case.
That's a heck of a lot of love.
But when that stopped, she then came back and got another $250 on top of that.
$250 what?
$250,000.
No way, B.
For a publishing thing I had gotten 10 years before.
Seriously?
Yeah. But when she did that, I put in there, like, I'm going to give you this money.
Mm-hmm.
But you can never, ever, 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 ever again come back again. Ever. And I can document. I have all this documented.
Yeah, no, I understand.
You can never come back again. Do you know that last year she tried to come back again?
That's crazy.
And I swiftly had to send the letter back to Laura and say, did she not tell you about this?
You guys have been divorced for well over 20 years.
20 years.
So how does she continue to be able to come back to the well?
Well, she tried. And I think she may have been entitled to some of that money in 2013 or 14, whatever that was.
Right.
But that was the end of it.
Yeah.
That was the end. I gladly gave it. I'm like, will this get you, will this end this?
Yeah.
It's always about money, Anton.
So
always.
Then at some point you file a defamation lawsuit. What is that?
Well, we got to start sort of before that.
Okay.
So that post was in 2019. It's been 6 years of this nonsense.
Right.
Everything that I've just told you has been sitting on my page. And that's when I said that I disowned them, because you can't try to ruin my name.
Yeah.
Try to ruin everything that I built and then think you're going to inherit. I think people don't understand what these terms mean. And you, somebody who's created something, understands that when you die, someone is going to inherit.
Right.
You get to decide who those people or persons are going to be.
Correct.
Why in the world? And I see people say this all the time. There's nothing my children could do. I was like,
I disagree.
You tried to tell people, because there are people who will say that there's nothing I can do. And that's fine. But just know you're doing it based on lies.
I think that they disagree too.
You're doing this based on lies.
I don't believe that they believe that.
That's what I did. I chose, and I've chosen who's going to inherit.
Right.
You can't try to ruin me and then think that you're going to inherit on top of that.
So is there any possibility of reconciling? Right. Let's say, for example, hypothetically, that they get their lives together and they take care of their business and responsibility, and then they apologize for some of these things. Do you ever see yourself ever coming back from that, or do you just want to completely wash your hands because it's almost like enough is enough?
The time has come and gone for that.
Yeah.
How would you know that someone is actually sincere?
Yeah.
If they've doubled down and tripled down and quadrupled down, even as of today, the threats, death threats on my infant son, death threats on my wife, death threats on Jack, death threats on Julia.
Mm-hmm.
Those things don't go away. The damage that you have done has gone so far that there's no coming back from that.
That's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. So, okay. So now you got the judgment, right? How do you feel about this judgment that was ruled in your favor. I believe it was for $8 million.
So it's not about money. It's about what has been done to us.
Yeah.
What is that actually worth? She doesn't have $8 million.
Yeah.
But whatever she does have, as she continues to promote a book that's filled with lies,
Yeah.
when we got it, it's just filled with yellow.
Mm-hmm.
That's how ridiculous. There's no dates. There's no times. It's so convoluted and confusing. That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
People can sit back and they can judge me and do whatever they want to do, when all they really had to do was go on YouTube and click, and you can see, oh, there they are as adults singing together.
Well, people aren't going to do their research, right? That's
You know?
just, it's too much work for people to do their research.
But it's funny. They can go on and write a lengthy comment.
Yeah,
though.
of course. Absolutely.
Seems like to me it'd be a whole lot easier, particularly with someone who was apparently so beloved. It's funny to me when they say, oh, I was such a huge fan. Well, my actual fans were there.
Yeah.
And they saw, and they know that this has all been BS from the beginning.
Yeah. What's the future like for Brian McKnight? Because you've accomplished a lot. I think that you're at the tail end of this, I don't want to say persecution, but this headache that you've had to endure through for an extended period of time. What's the future like for you? Like, how do you see things playing out? Do you plan on moving again? How does this end?
I got to tell you, having Junior in my life,
Mm-hmm.
when you read in the Bible about how God puts these two people together and they're fruitful and they multiply,
Yeah.
I finally felt what it was like to be in love with someone, to sit down and say, hey, let's have a baby.
Yeah.
And to make that come to fruition, to plan it, to be there, to the excitement that comes along with all of the things that you dream about with that.
Was that her suggestion or was it your
It
suggestion?
was both. It's funny, Leilani's dad at our wedding was very prophetic.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of us was thinking about babies. And he said, at the end of his speech, he says, okay, now you can give us a grandbaby. And we were both like, ha, ha, ha. But what you realize is that the person that you're in love with, don't you want to see what a life would be like that you create with them?
Yeah.
I'd never done that. Every time that it was, sounds crazy, but it was a hassle.
Yeah.
It was a hassle of my own doing. I shouldn't have been with that person.
Yeah.
I should not have been with them. That way this doesn't happen. But my future is being there for him to make sure that he comes up the right way. You know, I love my family so much, Anton. It's
Yeah, every time we talk on the phone, I can hear him in the background.
Yeah, because we're always all together. You know, it's not about my career.
Yeah.
It's not about, because here's the thing. If I was wrong and all these people who used to love me hate me, wouldn't I just reconcile
Yeah.
just to get those people back?
You've been quiet for a very long time.
Well, yeah.
A very long time.
I was quiet. But somehow they always find some sort of way to, I was quiet right after all that happened. And then our daughter Julia graduated with her master's and she got a new BMW.
Mm-hmm.
A year later, the Shade Room goes and finds that and says, oh, he didn't do this for his black kids. And it's like, they had 5 brand new cars before they were 21. What are you talking about?
Right.
But y'all don't, that was before social media. So you didn't get to see that. They'll always find a way. It's like, well, you're washed up, you're this. Well, it sure doesn't seem like it, because anything I do, I breathe too hard and y'all are running away with it.
Right.
You know? Even when it comes down to the naming of my son,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that was always going to be his name.
Yeah.
The problem is that this other person decided he wanted to ruin that name.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, in 1850, Nathaniel Hawthorne wrote The Scarlet Letter.
Yeah.
His Scarlet Letter is that old name. He can have it. Since you tried to ruin it, you can have it, and you can explain
Because you
to your
legally
kids.
changed. A lot of people may
I
not
changed
know.
my name to be my son's name.
Right. You legally changed. Well, you still have Brian McKnight.
Yeah,
but
but my middle names, our middle names, and now he's my junior, and that's who he is.
Right.
He was made from love. And even the whole products of sin thing that I was saying that they weren't made from love, and that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
When you start things the wrong way, this is probably what's going to happen. Making somebody choose between the parents, as one of the parents, is one of the most wrong things you can possibly do.
Yeah.
We all had a great relationship. The one part of this whole situation that wasn't there was that their mother didn't get participate in this new life. So they can't.
Right.
So
what advice would you give to younger guys that are considering getting married early or considering having a child early? What is the recommended age? And I know it's based off of maturity, but if we just had to shoot an age out there, what do you think is an age where guys should probably start to evaluate whether or not they actually want to be in a relationship long term and if they want to have a child with the woman?
I think it's some of the same things you talk about. Until you are financially responsible,
Mm-hmm.
until you are mature enough, until you meet who you deem to be that one person that you know that no matter what happens, you're always going to be together. I don't think you should be entertaining that at all. And I don't think you should be having sex with anyone. I don't think you should be out here playing the field or doing any of that, because this is the way lives are ruined.
Yeah.
Period.
You said that something that you said in this interview that resonated with me. You said that if you had to do it again, you wish you would have been a virgin.
Yeah.
With meeting your now wife. What does that mean? Like, because a lot of people won't be able to really put that together, because I think that we live in a culture where everything is at your fingertips. I mean, you can go and pick up your phone and find anything you want to find at this point. You said that you wish you would have, if you would have done it again, you would have been a virgin.
I would have waited, because she deserves to have been the only person that knows me in any way.
Do you think that y'all met each other at the perfect time? Because see, you've amassed a ton of wisdom from your lived experiences to where you truly can appreciate her, I'm assuming. And
you don't get it.
Like let's say hypothetically you guys had met in 95, right? And that it wasn't in a previous relationship. Do you think that you would have seen her the same way that you seen her when you met her at that?
Absolutely.
Really?
Mm-hmm. See, I had to come up to her level. Now, some may say that's simping, and I don't agree. I don't agree with that, because she's everything that I wanted. And in order to have her, I couldn't be down here anymore. I should never have been down there. You know what she taught me? That I'm worth something. I'm worth more than the people that I chose to spend my time with.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that.
Do you think you would have been mentally in a space to where you could have accepted that though?
Yeah.
Really?
Because wanting to be with her would have been the same way it was when I met her. What do I have to do, and how do I need to change me?
Yeah.
I truly believe it was divine.
Yeah.
God knew where I was headed. God knew where I'd been. And he knew. I think it was his timing.
Mm-hmm.
But if his timing would have been in 95, it would have been exactly the same thing.
A lot of guys at this point, because of their lived experiences, maybe it was a divorce that they went through, or battling back and forth when it comes to custody and family court laws and things like that. A lot of guys have pretty much sworn off ever getting themselves into that type of situation again. But you've defied the odds and, kind of sort of made a way where I'm assuming that maybe you were maybe feeling some of the same feelings prior to meeting your now wife. Did you ever see yourself getting remarried prior to meeting her? Like, did you ever think in your mind You know what? I probably will get married again.
No, but it wasn't because of the first marriage. It was just because I didn't see what the value was for a man.
Yeah.
I wasn't jaded because of marriage from that situation.
Yeah.
I was jaded about people.
I might have been with the amount of money that you were paying. I might have been. I'm not gonna lie to you.
But that has nothing to do with. I was in a situation I shouldn't have been in.
Yeah.
So, if the penance for my peace was paying some extra money,
yeah,
we're entrepreneurs. We can make more money.
Absolutely, 100%.
We can make more money.
But it's not even about the amount of money. It's the lack of appreciation that comes along with what I've done for you. That's what I think that most
people
guys
think that they're entitled to it, though. The idea that you're there so you get X, Y, or Z.
Right.
You know, there's a lot that happening right now, as we see. But at the time, I just wanted out. And I didn't want to fight.
I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong though, but I'm assuming because you guys were amicable for that time, it probably wasn't a problem for you to make sure that things were taken care of. But it's not, that's the part where I would get bitter at. And it's like, wait a minute, you trying to throw my name under the bus after I've done all, you see what I'm saying?
Well, because they're saying that I didn't.
Right.
That's the other part, that somehow you were destitute. Somehow, you know, what I didn't tell you was for the first 3 years before we actually divorced, it was $25,000 a month.
That's $300,000 a year.
Then they brought it back to, 18. But the idea that you look in this book and she's like, oh, we had to get pizza by getting quarters out of the couch. Like, who are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I bought you a brand new house on wherever you wanted. You had cars, you had, maybe you didn't manage it very well because, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. But when a woman gets egg on her face,
yeah,
to me, I'd be like, well, he wasn't so great to me. You can have him.
Mm-hmm.
Like what, my mother loved my father till the day she died, but she went to her maiden name when they got divorced. My father got remarried. He's been married for 40 years.
Yeah.
This is a cycle that continues to happen. And I can't speak for everybody else's situation. The saddest part of this is that the younger one ended up dying.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. How do you feel about that? Because a lot of people make a big deal about, if we just being transparent about, posts
right.
that you may make on the anniversary of the passing.
Yeah. God's timing. That was the day that the judge told us what the amount was.
Oh, okay. So it didn't have anything to do with...
Had nothing to do with that. But I will say this. I believe it's God's timing because Anton, he did not have to die.
Why do you say that?
When we talked, and we did talk to him, we talked to his wife. We got to go back. So earlier that year, that May, he's on the Shade Room. He's saying things like, oh, now remember, they've lied on me, but they continue to double down and triple down on the rhetoric. If my dad needed this, I wouldn't do this for him. He's dead to me, blah, blah, blah. Now we come to find out that 3 days after that's when he got diagnosed. They waited because he didn't have insurance.
Mm-hmm.
They waited 4 months to let us know.
After they found out that he was actually...
They waited 4 months.
So he could have...
According to all statistics, 91% of colon cancer diagnoses that are caught early are curable.
Right.
From the time he got diagnosed to the time we found out, because they didn't tell us. I had to find out from somebody else.
Right.
Then I heard from them.
So were you the last?
We were the last to find out.
Wow.
So once we found out, we sprung into action. What can we do? Can we get the scans? Can we do this? Can we do that? Anton, by this time, it was stage 4.
That's crazy.
Stage 4. So you've lied on me.
Right.
You don't come to me. In my opinion, they martyred him so that they could keep this going.
That's deep. That's really deep.
That's what I truly believe.
Yeah.
Everybody's heard that voicemail. I will leave with you the messages that we sent. Leilani sent a message that said to his wife, you don't even have to tell him that it's us. We just want to help whatever we can do. And then they're like, well, he would have had to stay at your house and they wouldn't have been able to see him. I'm like, we never made that a stipulation.
Mm-hmm.
The facility that we found that the only one that would allow him to come was closer to our house.
Right.
That's why we have an entire apartment downstairs with its own entrance. His wife wouldn't have to work. You can take care of him all day. Leilani wanted to take care of him. And his mother sent that message after we sent the message to him.
That's insane.
This is what happened. So and it gets worse. So she puts out the book in January. She's on an interview, I think in February, with Foxy 104.5, whatever, in Raleigh. They ask him how he's doing. She says he's healed. He's healing and he's doing fine. He's doing great. Now, I realize they blocked us all on social media. We don't know what's going on with them.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing we know, he's passed.
Wow.
That message that I played for everybody was 20 months before he passed away. That was not near the end. It was still when something could be done at the very least to make him more comfortable. But you see, they ran out there immediately and said, he never spoke to him. He didn't come to him. Here's all these messages on Twitter. I deactivated my Twitter 4 years ago, something like that. I don't know. They didn't tag me. Nobody could call. Everybody's got my number. So they could say, he didn't even, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Last I heard, you said he was doing great. These are the things that you're in this every day.
Mm-hmm.
You are, I call most of these people content reactors. You're an actual content creator.
I try to be.
Is no one interested in the truth? Is no one actually, we sit back and we look at this and we have to laugh at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I think that the world is kind of gone crazy. When I see everything that's happening today and how when I see that people are not even open to the truth, that's what I think that is important about my platform. I try on a regular basis to be as objective as possible so that I can have a real conversation about what's really going on. And that's whether we're talking about relationships, popular culture, whatever. And what I found is that most people are not interested in the truth. Most people are more interested in being entertained. And so a lot of times the narrative, I'm not even gonna say the lie, but any narrative that somebody comes up that seems salacious is more interesting than the truth. And so that's probably why people are more focused on that. People that don't even know or, may not even be remotely interested in understanding what the truth is, that's what I tend to think that they lean towards is the entertainment. Because, even if you start to pay attention to the stuff that they look at or that they post on their own platform, it's all based off of, that's why a lot of these platforms exist. That's why a lot of these vlogs exist. And it's not necessarily to tell the truth. It's just to be entertaining.
But very few of them are doing as well as you are. So
yeah, that's true. Well, I take a longer term approach, and I think that that's why we have the relationship that we have, because we weren't even focused. Like, this thing kind of happened spirit of moment,
right?
But we weren't focused on that. I call you and I say, "Hey, how's it going, man?
Right.
You doing? You need
and
anything?"
I appreciate that.
And then you call me and say, "Hey, is everything good? You need anything from me?" And that's the dynamic of our relationship.
I get mad when I see dudes out there talking bad about you.
But I'm used to it.
I
yeah,
you do.
You do.
And I'm like, why? Because here's the thing. Why can't we sit and talk about it?
Yeah, I agree.
I send a message to Joe Budden's podcast. Crickets. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But Who's that Mark, the guy, the political
Marc
guy?
Lamont-Hill.
Let me tell you something. I'd destroy that dude.
Yeah.
I would destroy him. Not physically, but
No,
in
I
a
understand
debate.
what you're saying.
Because you don't even know me, but you call
Right.
me an asshole?
Yeah. Well, I look at Marc Lamont-Hill. There's this segment of people that are what I like to call, they like to champion themselves as intellectuals, right? And that they truly believe that they're smarter than everybody else. But I don't really believe that because I never see the results.
Right.
It never translates, right? So
I see people hand him I see people handing him his ass all the time.
yeah, it's easy to, I mean, it's easy to say that, you know, I'm the smartest guy in the room, but it doesn't necessarily translate into results, right? So I decided that I would do stuff on my own and that I would have the conversations authentically with people that I actually value. And getting to know you over the years, I'm happy that you had an opportunity to tell your perspective and your story on my platform. Let me ask you one more question, because there's been a lot of people from the Rickey Smileys to all of these different type of people that run with a narrative but doesn't necessarily seek the truth. Do you think that they have a greater responsibility on their platforms to be not only entertaining, but also objectively try to find the truth, to have these conversations, especially when they have the opportunity to reach out to you and it's not like you're hard to find?
I think that absolutely they do. And I'll tell you why. One of the reasons why the average watcher or listener is the way that they are is because they see and idolize the people that are acting the way that they do.
Right.
So why would they be any different? Why would they seek the truth? Why would they look for the truth if the people that they put up on a pedestal don't look for the truth either?
Right.
They're more responsible than anyone because they've got the bigger platform. So when I go out and I call somebody out about it and they don't reach back, that just tells me you're a coward, that you don't have the intestinal fortitude to sit here with me.
Right.
Because you know I'm smarter than you. And you know that I have a truth that you don't want to actually get to.
I think that another part of it, though, is that they pander into their audience.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
How can we expect the audience to get smarter?
I don't think they want them to. I don't think that they want them to.
Or to, the plantations that you talk about.
Mm-hmm.
How do they get off of those?
I don't think that they want them to get off of that. I don't think that they're interested in educating or finding the truth or any of that. I don't think that that's the play. I think that the play is to continue to monetize the ignorance.
Yeah. I mean, I see that too, but that means no integrity. What I'm here to show everyone is that this is what integrity looks like.
Yeah.
Because I could very easily lie to you and try to make things better. But that would mean that I'm lying to myself. How can I look my wife straight in the face? She's been there from the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm 100% transparent. This is not edited whatsoever. This is just straight up exactly giving it to you real. I will tell you that I asked Brian, is it anything that you don't want me to talk about or ask you and you didn't object to anything? You can ask me anything that you want. So you don't, from the very beginning, I don't know. I don't see anything.
Anton, I've been getting interviewed since I was 20 years old.
Yeah. My
life has been, look back and love me, hate me, whatever. It's fine. I'm good. But if you would do me a favor, just take 5 seconds and actually go back and look and see who I am. I saw something yesterday that said, this guy's had a clean-cut image for years and years and years and years and years and years and years. And then all of a sudden this thing happened. And that was by design. They knew that if they put this out there, it would make people feel a certain way. And that no one would go, well, not no one, because my fans are my fans. My fans are diehard, for sure.
Absolutely.
But there'd be these other people who would run with it and make it into something that it's actually not and keep it going. 6 years of this?
Listen, let me say this, and then I want to get your final thoughts. I don't take these people serious, and I'll tell you why. some of the exact same people, because I've done some of the research, some of the exact same people that have some of the most negative things to say and will not even seek the truth are some of the same people that support some of the most egregious people and things that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm not going to name them names because this is not about them. But the level of hypocrisy
I can't stand
is
it.
crazy. So I don't
Cannot
take
stand
people,
it.
I don't believe people. I don't take them serious.
But here's the thing. That's fine and good on social media.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see it translate in real life.
No. That's true.
When
Absolutely.
someone sees my wife and they get aggressive with her because they think that she's standing by a man who abandoned his black children. Yeah. That's a problem.
I agree.
When our daughter Julie is out of the club and she has to have security because the women know who she is now, they take it too far. It's gone beyond just something, somebody says, we should get the guy who got Charlie Kirk to get Brian McKnight.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's insane. That's absolutely insane.
That somehow I'm worse than R. Kelly or worse than Diddy or worse than...
Yeah, well, you naming some of them. Now that we there. Yeah.
But this is what they're saying.
Yeah.
And what did I do? Nothing.
Yeah.
I went on and lived my life and I fell in love. And...
Well, that's why I embrace being the villain. See, Brian, you too nice. You too nice. I don't mind. You know me, I'll go into the mire.
You know what? If it was just me, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either.
I'll burn the whole building down. I don't care.
There's other conversations to be had just about, what it's like to start as an R&B act.
Yeah.
And then cross over.
Yeah.
And the ramifications of that. There's so much more that we didn't touch on. But
no. I plan on doing this again. I appreciate you. I want to get your final thoughts. Is there anything that I didn't ask you or that we didn't touch on that you would like to leave people with until we come back together again?
As a songwriter, as a lover of literature, because I come from the idea of Shakespeare and Poe and Wordsworth and Thoreau and Frost, all the way to Gino Vanelli and Stevie and Marvin. It's about truth. We're living in a time when you don't know what's what. And it's very scary, particularly for those of us. It's very much like the Matrix.
Yeah.
That's why they come with the red pill and the blue pill, whatever it is. But I think it's deeper than that because getting the wool pulled over your eyes, even in small things, may have repercussions, even with the big things, as you move forward. We asked Jack one day, what he thought the purpose of life was. And he said to be remembered. Mm. And how many generations of the people that love you are actually going to remember you?
That's true.
How you're remembered is important. And to see people say silly things like, this is what I'm going to be remembered for, it's like,
no, I don't believe that either.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but hold on to the truth. Pray about it. God is right there waiting to reveal all, growing up in the church, you become jaded to all that.
Yeah.
But then one day God smacks you in the head. Leilani's the one that brought me back to God. So we have all of this doctrine in our home. She brought me back. I was way out there, not believing in much of anything. And now I'm back. And I think that's what God's purpose was for me. He wanted me back. He knows who I really am.
Yeah.
And when I was out there, that's not who I was. That's not who I am. And I guess it's that. Find out who you are and be that. I guess somebody has to be the sheep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We all can't be, everybody wants to be you, but are they really willing to do the work?
No, absolutely
not. Are they really
not.
willing to, when there's only 10 views, 100 views, 1,000 views, we talk about, it was hard to be in this business in the 90s, to get recognized, to send it to, I sent literal cassette tapes out to publishing companies, to record labels, to
Wow.
listen.
That's crazy.
Most people don't know what a cassette tape is.
Yeah, they don't.
You know, I've written 4,000 songs.
That's
man,
insane.
at least.
That is crazy.
At least. You know, most of them are not very good, but I got lucky. Like 21 top 10s.
Yeah, right. That's not luck.
21. It is, because once you realize that it's not me against the other artists, it's my label against their label.
Yeah, but you come from an era where there was actually real talent, and if you listen to your songs, they resonate and they actually hold weight over a period of time. So I don't look at that as luck. I just look at that as talent meets preparation, hard work, outcome, success. That's the way I look at it.
True, but timing.
Timing
Who's
matters
the president at the time
That's
of the
true.
record label?
No, you're right.
Who's the A&R? Who's, promotion? I've been at labels where the president got fired right when the record came out, or he quit
Yeah.
right when the turmoil. And you see people hear these songs. I never heard this before. How come I slept on this? Well,
Yeah.
it's hard to get something from my brain into your CD player. That's not easy to do.
Yeah.
Even when you do have a record deal. So there's so much to it. I've been so blessed.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So blessed. And I just want to thank you. Not everybody has the courage with their platform to sit down like this. And I appreciate you. My wife, my family, we all appreciate you.
Well, we are friends in real life. And I'm going to continue to support you and have your back regardless of what happens.
Right.
And I think that people have to, if they objectively have this conversation in their living room or in their kitchen based off of what they've seen today, it's impossible for them to look at their lives and the things that they went through and then to come to the same conclusion that they might have been at before we had this conversation. So I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity to even hear your story and distribute it on my platform. I do. I truly do appreciate it.
Once you pass the million is when I call.
Listen, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you tap in. Of course, I always like to leave all of the links back to Brian inside of the description. Let him know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. I love you. I appreciate y'all. I'm out. Peace.